The first national convention will be held on Friday and Saturday at the University of South Africa, and the views, concerns as well as proposals collated from this particular conversation will then be brought together at the second national convention, which we understand is planned for next year. Now, with mixed reaction to this convention and the planned dialogue, Full View anchor Mbali Tetani is out in the streets to get the views of the people. Mbali, good evening to you and thank you so much for your time. I mean, this is an issue that has been subject of many heated discussions, right? Others understand why we need a national dialogue. Others certainly don't and say the issues of the country are well known. What are the views of the people there?
Certainly, Bongi. Of course, we do know that on Friday and on Saturday we will officially see the National Convention kick off, and that is taking place in Pretoria at UNISA. And like you say, it has received a lot of criticism from various sectors in the country. Some political parties saying that it's just an expensive talk shop. Others saying that, well, this is the ANC campaigning just ahead of the local government elections after receiving that 40% at the polls last year. And you're certainly right. We are in the streets of Johannesburg. We found ourselves this evening in Parkers just talking to some South Africans here who have made their way to the various restaurants in this court. And I'm going to firstly bring in here Azra. And Azra, of course, we know that this national convention starts off on Saturday, but of course this is a build-up to the national dialogue. What are your thoughts about this national dialogue? A number of people have criticized it, while some others saying that, well, it should go ahead. We are facing a number of challenges in this country.
I think that the criticism towards it is quite unreasonable. I think that as a country we are facing a lot of issues. We're facing high rates of gender-based violence. The recent statistics that have been released with regards to increased kidnappings around the country, with high youth unemployment rates, crime in general. I think that even corruption levels are very high. I think it's definitely a conversation that is much needed. We need to resolve things, acknowledge where the problems are, and hopefully try and figure out a way that we can come to some form of betterment for the country of South Africa for us all.
All right, thank you so much, Azra. I'm going to bring in now Bongiwe, Sarah. And Sarah, your friend or your sister there just talking about the importance of this convention, saying that it's necessary for this convention to take place because of the various issues we are facing as a country. Others are saying that it's a waste of time. Do you think that it's quite important for us to go ahead and have these dialogues?
I do think it's really important for the country to have these dialogues. We're a big country, we're a strong country, and we need to stand up and show people that we are in forms of, standing up to Trump's tariffs. I think that's a very important part in showing how strong we are as a country, as well as talking about Israel and Gaza and holding Israel accountable for their war crimes. I think it's pretty important that we address all these situations. One of the biggest situations I would like to address would be the homelessness and the economic rate in the country. We need to clean up these streets. We need to help out people. We are South Africa, We're the best country. We need to show that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm going to bring in now Babala. Babala, when we see this official dialogue take place, what do you want to see take place in terms of the kind of conversations that need to be had in this country to find solutions to the issues that plague us as a community?
Siswami, we're facing a lot of problems in South Africa. It is unnecessary this dialogue to happen in South Africa because we're facing GBV. We face people are killing our kids. I think it's very, very, very important to do this. Right. It's very important. We're facing GBV. We're facing a rape. South Africa is a very huge country. We need to do this. Thank you.
Okay, Nyabong. Tseho? A number of issues here being ventilated by some of the people here in the streets of South Africa, streets of Johannesburg. What would you like to see when we finally see this convention kick off for this weekend?
Okay, I feel like with this convention, the government is putting so much money into having dialogues and all of that. The only thing I want to see is implementation of everything. Can it be more safer for us now? Can people be able to drive their cars on the street and not be able to have anxiety about someone stealing my car? Can we just get to a point where we feel like South Africa is for all of us? It shouldn't feel like now I can't walk on the streets. So I feel like the most important issue for me is actually the GBV and the kidnapping. It's very bad now, to a point where now you can't even get into a taxi when it's only just men there. So I feel like the challenges are very real, and especially when it surrounds women, it's a big situation. So I would like to see the government talk more about that and try to implement more towards it than to have dialogues, because we're going to have dialogues every year. We're always going to have dialogues, but we need the change.
All right. Thank you so much, Tseko. Dean, what you've heard the ladies here talk about a number of issues. What kind of South Africa do you want to see specifically emerge from this convention?
I think one of the biggest things that could happen is for the government, for people in government to hear these conversations, to hear our conversations that we have in restaurants, to hear the things that are happening at work and at home, etc. And it's fine to say you're going to have a national dialogue with important people, but you kind of need to see every single person as important, and therefore you need to hear every single person's voice. That would be an amazing space to start. Yeah, I've never actually heard as many people so unhappy as I have in the last few months, and people who are potentially, you know, like ANC card-carrying members who are completely disgruntled with the ANC, who would probably say that this is just a way, someone said earlier, of the ANC punting themselves and building themselves up. It should not be a political party thing. This needs to be something that is, the dialogue is, important people and us.
All right. Thank you so much, Dean. I'm also going to bring in now Nico. Nico, thank you so much for your time. What's the kind of South Africa that you would like to see, specifically because of the number of issues we are facing as a nation?
Wow. As a nation, I think personally, 30 years we've gone backwards. I don't feel for one second we've gone forward. I think people have benefited themselves as opposed to the country, which is very sad. We look at our schooling, we look at the whole system. There's no rule of law in this country, and that's the biggest problem I find. As a business owner, we can sit and talk for days, and they don't promote small businesses on the ground. I'm referring to not big companies or BEE that leads to nowhere, and only a few people benefit from BEE. Now this convention can take place for a week, a month and 1 year, and I'm telling you it's going to fall on deaf ears. They're going to promote and spend, and yet nothing will come of it, because if they haven't heard us in 50 years, why should they hear us today?
Thank you so much, Nico. That is Nico there giving us his thoughts about the upcoming convention. As you can see, Bongiwe, a number of mixed views coming from South Africans here on the streets of Parkers, just highlighting some of the various issues. Others saying that, well, it's important for us to sit down and have these conversations and try to find the various solutions. And others saying, well, it's just a waste of time. It's another talk shop. Really, we know what the issues are here. It's about now implementing some of the issues that we've already highlighted as being challenges in the country.
Interesting views there, Mbali. Thank you so much for that. That's my colleague there, Mbali Tetani, out in the streets of Melville.